No.
Good luck.
Alright, what's up YouTube? Back at you with another video. So we're here with my thoughts on the Thriller 40 documentary that released on Showtime on December 2nd. Yeah, so I was very excited for the Thriller 40 documentary that was going to come out. And in my opinion, it should have came out last year alongside the album that they put out in November, if I'm not mistaken. And based off of the little clips and everything like that I used to see on YouTube, or that I saw around YouTube when they had, I guess, some sort of premiere or screening last year, I thought that this was going to be, you know, like this super in-depth documentary. And in my opinion, it wasn't. So anyway, I'm just going to give my thoughts on it overall, my reasons as far as why I didn't like it and felt very underwhelmed by it. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. So first of all, this documentary was directed by Nelson George, who is like a veteran music historian, you know, musical critic. He's known for being like critiquing Michael Jackson, Prince, and, you know, major artists, you know, back in the, you know, 80s, 90s and shit like that. Now, I honestly feel like this was the wrong guy for the job. You don't get a freaking music historian to fucking direct a Michael Jackson documentary. Now, my thing is this, okay? Spike Lee directed Bad 25 and the Off the Wall documentary. I think it was like From Motown to Off the Wall, something. Yeah, I forgot because I haven't seen it in a while. Why not get Spike Lee to come back and do the Thriller documentary? Like, because you see, I don't know what's going on with the people who are in charge of Michael Jackson projects and all of that, but they got it wrong by getting this guy, and maybe they didn't want to shell out as much money, because I'm pretty sure it probably would have cost them a lot more to pay Spike Lee than it would to get Nelson George to direct this shit. But they got it wrong with this guy. Not that he's a bad historian or a bad whatever it is that he is, but you're not a director. So therefore, you don't know what you're doing. And the thing is, or you don't know what you're doing in the realm of film. And it was very apparent in the way that they sequenced this thing. Like, it was just up and down, left and right, like all over the place. Like they talked about PYT for 30 seconds, and then they start talking about Wanna Be Starting Something for 2 minutes, and then they jump to Thriller, then they jump back to this song, that song. Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't understand. Like, I was sitting there. First of all, I had just gotten back from watching Godzilla -1 in the theaters. And when I got home, it was after midnight, and I'm looking at, you know, the date, and it says December 2nd. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I go on Twitter, and I see everybody talking about the Thriller 40 documentary. So I was like, okay, cool. So let me watch it. So then I get, you know, I'm forced to get the Paramount Plus and the Showtime package, because you got to get both of them for $3.99. So I get that, and then I watch it. And then I'm seeing, and who was on the cast? So it says Usher, Brooke Shields, Mary J. Blige, Mark Ronson, Will.I.am, Misty Copeland, Maxwell, and John Landis. Now, all right, here's my thing. I'm going to tell you exactly who don't belong on this cast. First of all, Mary J. Blige. Anybody who knows me and has seen my Power videos on this channel, they know I love me some Mary J. Blige, and I love the character that she plays on Power. However, I have no idea what she had to do with Michael Jackson or Thriller at all. Like, I have no idea, like, where the correlation between those two ever even occurred for them to feel like, yeah, let's get Mary J. Blige to do the Thriller 40 documentary. Because what this really was, it was, how should I say, instead of it being a documentary, it was more so, let's get these celebrities and then let's have them give their opinion on the Thriller album, and then we're just going to put little unreleased footage, little bits and pieces of unreleased footage that Michael Jackson fans have never seen, and let's just weave that in together along with their opinions. Okay, like Usher. First of all, Usher didn't say anything different than he already hasn't said for the last 20 years. We know how Usher feels about Michael Jackson already. Therefore, he did not have to be a part of this thing at all. So that's Usher, Mary J. Blige. They didn't need to be there. Now, Will.I.am, same thing. Like, I don't know what he was really there for, to be honest with you. John Landis, okay, fine. Brooke Shields, I'm not so sure about that, because last time I checked, or last time I heard her name, she was like talking trash about Michael Jackson. Now, I don't remember what she said, but I do remember people were asking me to make a video responding to whatever it is that she was saying out in the public. So I'm not really sure why she was there, because, oh yeah. Basically, she was just trying to deny any sort of romantic involvement with Michael Jackson whatsoever, and then she was in fact actually distancing herself from him rather than like showing him love and saying, you know, maybe she thought that he was handsome, but that, you know, nothing ever happened between the two of them. I don't know, but I don't know why she was there. I don't know why she was there. Then you had Misty Copeland, who, if I'm not mistaken, let me look her up. So she's like a ballerina dancer or some shit like that. Yeah. So she's a famous ballerina. All right, fine. Okay, so she's talking about Michael from a dance perspective. All right, cool. But she didn't even say anything either. This woman didn't say anything either. Now, and Maxwell, same thing. Like, just these random people. Like, I don't get where Nelson George was going with it. You know what I think it was? I think Nelson George really sat there and was just like, all right, which one of my celebrity friends can I call to get them to just do this really quick? I just need just a quick, 5-minute interview between all of them. And then he just made a couple of phone calls. Like, no. Now, on this cast list that I'm looking at on Wikipedia, it doesn't have everybody, but it just has, like, I guess, like the notable celebrities. Now, everybody that worked with Michael Jackson who was a collaborator, they deserved all the screen time. All right, so I think it was Steve Lukather. He was the guitarist from Toto. Van Halen, I'm not sure if he's alive either, but I remember there being a segment on the guitar solo and how they wanted Beat It, or Michael wanted Beat It, to appeal to white audiences, and the way that he did that was having a famous guitarist like Steve Lukather and Van Halen to contribute to the track. That's where the focus needed to be, on his collaborators and Michael himself. And in fact, in my opinion, Michael Jackson didn't even get that much screen time in this thing. I spent so much time looking at Usher and freaking Mary J. Blige and Maxwell and all of that. I'm just like, yo, come on now. And then if John Landis was gonna be in it, let him say something new. Like, if I wanted to know how John Landis felt about Thriller, I could have just watched the original behind the scenes freaking documentary and shit like that. In fact, that does a way better job at freaking showing, you know what I'm saying, like what was going on behind the scenes on Thriller than this. And that shit is freaking like 40 years old. This is what I'm saying. If you're going to make a Thriller 40 documentary, you gotta do it right. Like, do not touch anything Michael Jackson related if you are not going to do it right. This shit to me was half-assed. I'm just saying. Now, let me make this clear. It is always nice. It is always great to see new Michael Jackson footage. And I'm appreciative that they even put those little tidbits in there. But my thing is, y'all could have put a lot more than that. Like, there should have been, like, I don't know, like a full dance rehearsal or some shit from Thriller. Okay, that's what they should have did. Like, they showed Michael, like, like without his jacket, he had on a V-neck. They were just going through the choreography. Let me see that. Let me see the whole thing. Let us see the whole thing. Let us in. Let us see. And it's like they're like, we're gonna show you something, but we're not gonna show you too much. We're just gonna give you just enough to be satisfied. And the thing is, people who are satisfied by that are just so hungry for Michael Jackson content that they'll just take anything. Me, I'm all about quality, not quantity. You know what I'm saying? And to me, this was not a quality documentary, in my opinion. Another thing, the Victory Tour stuff that they used. All right, This just goes to show that they have so much footage that they can make unbelievable content, quality stuff, and then they just choose not to do anything. And in fact, for the freaking Victory Tour stuff, they didn't show anything. Like, they didn't show anything new that hasn't already been on the internet since freaking 2012, 2013. This shit, been there, seen that already. So I'm just like, I'm watching this and I'm just waiting to have a moment where I'm going to sit up and then really pay attention. But in fact, I'm just listening to how people felt about Thriller. It's like, no, they should have went through each individual track, its story, you know what I'm saying? Like, what it took to make the track, you know, everything from the ground up. And they tried to do that, but they didn't really do it. They didn't do a good job. They didn't really talk about human nature like that. Steve Porcaro could have came in because he's the one who wrote freaking Human Nature. Let him come in and tell that story in a definitive way. Steve has told that story many times, but give him the platform to really tell that story. Let's talk about how Michael Jackson was in the studio for Lady in My Life and how Quincy Jones had to pull that performance out of him. I mean, where was Quincy Jones? Where was he? Now, granted, they had Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and in fact, if it's anybody's opinion that I want to hear about the Thriller album, let it be Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. In fact, they probably would have been the only ones that I called, because these guys are legendary songwriters and producers. I don't give a shit to hear about Usher, freaking the rest of them. I don't care. Brooke Shields, she is not a musician. She's not a writer. She's not an artist. So I don't know why she was even there. She was not qualified to have that conversation. Why? Because she knew him? I don't know. Like, to me, that just doesn't make sense. But they could have put way more Victory Tour footage up in there. Because I've always said this for years. Michael Jackson, at a certain point, I think it dawned on him that he was like, I have to record everything. Because when you record things, you immortalize it in a way. So that moment will always be preserved and cemented as long as you record it. This is why Michael Jackson was cutting the camera on when he was in the studio, cutting the camera on when he was rehearsing, cutting the camera on for everything. So you don't think that there is, like, Michael Jackson probably recorded all the Thriller sessions? And I'm not saying show us everything, but give us more of an insightful look into that process. This is the greatest fucking album of all time. This is the greatest album of all time, in my opinion. This is the best-selling album of all time. 100 million plus records. So if you're gonna talk about it, talk about it. That shit should have been freaking 2.5 hours. How long was the shit? 90 minutes. 90 minutes. That shit should have been 2.5 hours. Let's go in. See, when you look at Bad 25 and how in-depth it was, not only did it give Michael Jackson shine, it gave each individual song its shine. And not only that, but its collaborators shine. You see, yes, you had Kanye West up in there. You had Chris Brown in there. You had Justin Bieber. But these people took a back seat to the people who were really a part of that process. So they were the ones who were really talking. So if you heard Chris Brown was only talking for maybe 20 seconds. And then it cut back to somebody else, Saida Garrett, freaking Greg Phillinganes, John Barnes. Like, people that actually matter. You get what I'm saying? Like, this, to me, it just wasn't, like, it was not what it was supposed to be, in my opinion, at all. And again, like, had they asked me to direct and executive produce this documentary, believe me, I know what fans want to see. You know what I'm saying? And I know how to ask questions to these, you know, to Michael Jackson's collaborators in a way that it's going to give us a new, you know, like, spin, things that we never heard, questions that they were never asked. So I'm going to do my homework. For Nelson George to be this historian guy, it's like, come on, man. Like, you didn't know what you were doing. You didn't know what you were doing. Like, this was just a rehash on Thriller history, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, he just didn't do, he did a terrible job, in my opinion. And honestly, seeing Michael, A+. Again, like, anytime I see Michael, I get in a good mood. But I didn't see enough of him. If you're going to talk about the Victory Tour, let's talk about it. If you're going to show the Thriller music video, then let's talk about it. You cannot accomplish that in 90 fucking minutes. Hold on. How many hours is 90 minutes? Yeah, that's an hour and a half. You can't get the job done. You needed an extra hour on top of that. And they didn't do it. Now, let me just check to see how long Bad 25 was. Let's just double check. Let's just see real quick. Let's just see. 90 minutes. And I'm making a point. Look at that. 123 minutes. So you see, he needed more fucking time. It says 90-minute version of the film running for 60. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So anyway, because this is actually more so like a rant than really, you know, like my thoughts. Because again, like I'm just pissed off at the fact that I probably wouldn't really flex to watch this a second time, to be honest with you. Because I feel like I have, you know, a better archive of Michael Jackson stuff, you know, like that I personally have, that I feel like would give me what I was looking for in Thriller 40. Basically, you know, and for some reason it just seems like they just want to do the bare minimum. For some reason, like they just want to do the bare minimum. Like, get Michael Jackson's brothers up in there. Like, they should have been talking and saying what it was like to, you know, work on the Victory Tour. Maybe even the Victory album too. Maybe talk about that a little bit. They didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. Like, maybe when I start doing Michael Jackson album retrospectives, I'll get the job done. So then I'll do it myself. Because I that's been floating around in my head for a while, and I'm not done with like the new edition videos yet. But when I finally start doing Michael Jackson album retrospectives, I will try to, you know, get the job done. I feel like I'll do a better job. My videos will be better than that, in my opinion, because all of these people, these celebrities I'm talking about, not the collaborators. Vincent Patterson should have been up in there. Vincent Patterson was the co-choreographer. Wait, well, was he? I don't know, but he was in it. He was in Beat It with Michael Peters and Michael Jackson. He was the white guy. He was the white gang leader. Why was he not there? Like, like, yo, like, if you're still watching this at this point, you see how passionate I am about Michael Jackson and stuff like that, and how protective I am, and it baffles me that, like, I have no say in what these people are doing. Like, I wish that somebody would just say, hey, Dimitri, we want you to just check out what we've been working on, and we want your opinion. I would have told them, go back, start from scratch. This is It's like you're trying to solve a math equation. Show your work. I want to see how you got there. I don't know how Nelson George got there. I don't know how he got to this point. What were you doing? Like, yo, come on, man. What, edited by Darren Roberts? Cinematography by Justin Kane? Dog, like, what were you doing? And people hyped this shit up. When I tell you people hyped it up. And I'm not saying that if you enjoyed it, that you're wrong. If you enjoyed it, fine. Me personally, in my opinion, I just did not like this mockumentary. This wasn't a documentary. It was a mockumentary. I'm talking about Michael, like that interview that Michael had where he was just sitting on the table and he was wearing the green sweater and he was, you know, just talking and all of that. They should have been using that. If you're going to use that interview, then that interview should have been like the focal point of everything, of like his voiceovers, and then cut to him talking. Not Usher, not Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige talking about, yeah, I love Thriller. You know, I love seeing the moonwalk. Yeah, Thriller. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, you have nothing to do with him. I didn't see none of these people defending Michael Jackson publicly when Leaving Neverland was a thing. I didn't see none of these people going hard for Michael Jackson. So if we're gonna talk about it, let's talk about it. None of these people should have been there. Only Michael Jackson collaborators, his relatives, shit like that. People who were in close proximity of Michael Jackson during that time. You don't get people, just celebrities, just to have the cosign. And people are like, oh my God, it's Usher. So what? I've heard Usher say all of this stuff before. Wasn't he in like Bad 25? He probably was. Like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. Like, Nelson George, I'm disappointed. And this is the same guy that was always criticizing Michael Jackson for this thing, one thing or the other, and other artists and all of that. So I'll criticize his ass. Okay? I'll say, yeah, bro, you did a horrible job. I'll put that on wax. Nelson George did a terrible job with Thriller 40. If you are a Michael Jackson fan, you will agree. We deserved more unreleased footage than what we got in there. I bet you if I put a timer on and I tallied up all the unreleased footage that we got in 90 minutes, we got 10 minutes tops. We got 10 minutes tops. If I took every single clip and I put it all together and I timed it, we got a total of 10 minutes. And I'm talking about 10 minutes of Michael Jackson, straight up. And then like shit that we've never actually seen, I would say maybe, yeah, about 5. Maybe 5 or less. Or around there, 5 minutes and 30 seconds. That's what we got. It wasn't good. It wasn't good because I am a Michael Jackson fan. I've been a Michael Jackson fan my whole entire life. I know what I want. I know what I'm looking for. And whatever I was looking for, I didn't get it. I could have went to sleep that night. Honestly, I should have went to sleep. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have to stay up until 3:30 in the morning to watch that. Come on, man. Like, seriously, you know what I'm saying? And people were always like, yeah, you know, I can't wait to see the Thriller 40 documentary. I can't wait to see it. Honestly, I'm not going to say I wish I didn't see it, but I'm just very disappointed. I am very, 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 very disappointed. And, you know, and to be honest, I want my $3.99 back because the only thing that I get out of this whole situation is that I get to watch freaking Good Burger 2 with Kenan Thompson and freaking, you know, Kel Mitchell and shit like that.
Yeah, I did. Peep the wheels. Yeah. It started like Jada Pinkett, so we're about to set it off. Set it off on the right side. Set it off on.
Because that came out on Paramount Plus, so I might as well use it for something because I got nothing out of this. So, you know, from this point forward, all we're gonna get next is the Michael Jackson biopic, which I'm gonna make a video about, you know, next after this, and hopefully they get it right. If any of you happen to know somebody who's involved with the Michael Jackson estate, whatever the fuck, all of that, tell them to come holler at your boy. Tell them to come call me. You know, and I'm the quality control supervisor. I'm the advisor. Okay, I'm advising them on the quality of what they're putting out, of the content. You know what I'm saying? They need to open up a job role specifically for that. It's like how you have a movie. They bring in test audiences to see how they react. That's what they should have done. Get a room of prominent Michael Jackson fans and then have them watch the shit. If they like it, put it out. If they don't like it, or if you have a decent chunk of them saying, yeah, honestly, it wasn't really that great, go back to the drawing boards and do something else. Do something else. We can't keep being okay with the bare minimum because you know what they're going to keep doing? They're going to keep putting out BS. I'm not even going to lie. Thriller 40, the album, that should have been something else. Like, if I'm being honest with you, I think there were songs that they could have included on there that they didn't for whatever reason. You know how long it's been since we've gotten, you know, a new Michael Jackson album with unreleased songs? 2014. Last year should not have been just that point when we were getting something new. And then when we got it, it was just like, yeah, you know, who do you know? Freaking Behind the Mask. You know what I'm saying? The Toy. That's pretty much it. Like, honestly, like, all I thought I got out of that was like three new songs that I might go back and listen to sometimes. You know, but anyway, I can keep going on and on and on about this shit. But anyway, for those of you who appreciate what I said, appreciate my channel, support my channel, all of that, I appreciate you. And as always, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.